What's going down, guys? Stephen here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be putting together some Forgeworld resin, white resin, as part of our Alpha Legion tutorial, our ongoing awesome Hydra Elite tutorial. So yeah, we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be showing you my workflow, putting together white resin. It's going to be fantastic. All that after the bumper. I'll see you there in the video. Yo guys, how's it going? Alright, Steve here, back once again for another tutorial. It's been pretty good. So look, we've just come out like of an absolute, blast of book reviews and everything like that, and so I just thought it'd be good to, I wanted to get back to work into my assembly, and so I thought it'd be good to do a little bit of a Alpha Legion sort of Forgeworld tutorial in resin. So here we go. Look, I've just got my Alpha Legion Forgeworld here. My resin models, and I'll go through. I'm not gonna go through and do all of them right on the camera. I'm just gonna go through, do one of them, and then you just repeat the same process, right? So this is basically just like a quick tutorial, just talking about resin assembly, like how I go about it, what I do. Okay, so first of all, look, for this tutorial I'm gonna do the commander. Alright, I'm going to do him, so it should be good. So I'm just going to open this guy up here. Now, a lot of this stuff is pretty much exactly the same as assembling plastic. It's not really that hard. You see a lot of people bitching about it all the time, okay? I see it in a lot of the Facebook groups, and that it's actually not that hard at all, okay? There are a few little tricks to doing it, though. Some people use pins to hold stuff in place. Other people use things like that. I kind of use this stuff. It's like really low stick glue tack, just to help me hold things in place if they don't stick. All right. The other thing that I do too is I just use like normal super glue, guys. All right. Just gonna tear one of these off. I know that a lot of people they go out, buy all this special glue and all that, and they say, oh, I can't friggin' control my super glue. It drips everywhere. It doesn't stick properly. Okay, number one, it sticks. All right, that's the thing. It sticks. All right, so it's no excuse there. Number two, you can't control it. Well, that might be a problem with the user, not the tool. So I recommend maybe just getting a bit of practice in. The other complaint I hear about it with this stuff is that it's really cheap. Yes, it is really cheap, and that's why I like to use it, because this costs me like 20 cents. So you know what? I really don't give a crap if it dries up after one use, right? Because if you know where to buy it, it costs me like 30 cents. I bought this whole pack for something like $4 or something, right? And then there's other pack as well. So, but look, guys, that's just me. You can use, whatever you want, okay? So look, the normal glue just won't cut it. Normal sort of liquid cement isn't going to cut it, plastic glue. Sometimes you might get lucky with stuff, alright? But most of the times, it's just not going to stick. And even if it does stick, you're going to be ending up holding it there for like 20 minutes. Don't put yourself through it, guys. Just get super glue, get proper adhesive, okay? You need it for resin, alright? Resin's different. There are a few differences working with plastic, okay? The other thing you got to realize too is just a lot more delicate. A lot of these parts here, like you see this is plasma vent and that here, they're a lot more delicate than what the plastic ones are. So you have to be super duper careful, alright? Super duper careful when you're working with the resin, because it's very easy to snap stuff, and when you do snap it, it can be a lot harder to fix back up again. So I'm just going to go through before I forget and just sort of trim this out. Now, check out my other tutorial on the channel here, assembling Warhammer miniatures, plastic ones. You can see I go for a tutorial on doing this whole process here with the plastic, okay? I'm not going to go through that here. Now, there's a step here which I'm not going to do, but I'm going to tell you about it and talk to you about it, because it is very important when working with resin, alright? The reason why I'm not going to do it in this video is basic because this character, this Space Marine, is very small anyway, and I don't actually need to do it because stuff's going to stick pretty quickly. I'm going to be able to stick stuff in there pretty decently, Anyway, for the stuff that I need bracing, I'm going to use this stuck tape, which is like this low strength glue tack. Alright, so the reason why you want to use the low strength stuff is so it doesn't basically stick too much. Be very careful, don't start getting glue tack all in these recesses, alright? Because then you can be in, no, not really problems, you can get it out of there, just dip it in some alcohol and stuff, but you know, it's just, you know, why make life hard on yourself? Like, the reason you're using this, not a pin, is because you don't want to make life hard on yourself, right? So anyway, the step I'm talking about is washing the resin. A lot of people, they go through and they complain that, you know, that their models won't stick together and resin's so crap, and, oh, I can't get resin together. You know, guys, you got to wash it. So what I would usually do, I would go through and I'd run it under some warm water, and just to like clean it up a little bit, and then dry it up, and then go get a hairdryer, and then basically just like hair dry over it. I've actually got my hairdryer here actually. If the super glue just decides to not stick in that, I've got that ready to help dry it very fast, which I should have plugged in before, but whatever. Like I said, I don't think that's quite necessary. If you wanna use a hairdryer, you can. I'm pretty sure you can know how to use it. All right, and I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to put this together as we go. So so basically, yeah. Right now, you wash it, you dry it. Now the other thing is, the other quick tip I want to give you is as well, working with resin. A lot of the times, especially with these Forgeworld kits, you can get parts which are bent. Right, especially I think there was something I got recently, the Custodes Dreadnought. It comes with that like las cannon halberd, and essentially like it came like skewed and bent, and I was kind of like, man, that sucks, because it's like such a wicked model, and I'm like, you know, what am I gonna do? So what you do in that instance, and it'll actually tell you in the cover as well. It'll actually tell you what you do. You run it under hot water, and what you do is you run it under hot water, and you just gently like bend it back into position. So I'm not even going to do that in here because I don't want to snap that. But you, with hot water, you just bend it back ever so slightly, right? And sometimes, yeah, don't be afraid to use a little bit of force on it, but just use your judgment, and don't be shy. And you can bend stuff back into place like that when you get it. I was very lucky, if you've been following my videos, that I actually didn't get that problem with these kits. So like none of my stuff is bent, it's all really, really well molded, and I was really lucky in that sense. So yeah, cool. Alright, fantastic. So the next step is basically just going through and just cutting these parts off. Now, you know, like I've got my instructions here. I doubt I'm gonna need that. Just be very careful with resin. It's very delicate. Be very careful you don't cut off parts that you don't want to cut off. Be very careful of like these little end parts when they're still on the sprue, because they're a lot more fragile, especially when they're on the sprue. They just love to snap, right? So just be very careful. Once you get them off the sprue, they're not too bad, but once they're on the sprue, it's just they can be very, very fragile. Be careful too, just when you're pruning your models, just go through, give them a bit of prune. The pruning process is exactly the same as plastic. Alright, just be sure that whatever it is you're doing is... Just be careful with parts like that. Sometimes you don't want to use a knife. Sometimes you want to go through and use this thing, because it just snaps off too much, and you can end up snapping off the model. You can also use some sandpaper to sand this down. I'm not a massive fan of it, but I do use it sometimes. Oftentimes with really delicate parts like this, sometimes the best thing is just to leave it, honestly. You know, because if you're not going to see it anyway. I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I'm gonna sand that down. But yeah, so you can see here, so like the nice looking little bit bent. I don't think it's personally to the point where I'm going to worry about it. But I could go ahead and basically go ahead and wash that, put under some hot water, get it happening. But I don't think I'm really going to bother right now at the moment with it, because I think it's cool. If I put the model together and it's, you know, and it's still bent and warped, then I'll go through and and have a look. So these are the rocks on the model. So again, I'm just using my clippers to cut this off. Now you will notice I'm using my clippers a lot more than when I was working with the plastic, right? And that's because, you know, you got to be very delicate with the resin. It'll snap off very easily, and the clippers just have this tendency to just give you like a cleaner initial cut. Very careful with the resin. Just bits like this cape, all right? And just sort of like sand it down. All right, just go through it, give it a bit of a prune across. All right, along this area here, just very light sort of sand down. And notice here I am using my knife. I'm not using my blunt knife. I'm actually using my Stanley knife, we would call it, my hobby knife, right? Again, we could go through, we could fix a lot of this stuff up later, okay? Now this part shouldn't be too much trouble. This is just like a Space Marine torso, so it's pretty sturdy. When the pieces are thick, it's not so bad, it doesn't really matter, right? It's just, again, when you're dealing with like really flimsy parts like that, and they can also be quite, like, not hard, but annoying to put back into place as well. So, you know, so I'm just going to be careful watching my fingers here, because I've got to put a little bit of force in there. Alright, remember this is under the foot as well, so, you know, I mean, it's not going to matter too much underneath here. But again, I like to kind of do my stuff properly. A bit of a perfectionist when it comes to Warhammer. Alright, so we've got this going on here. Yep, cool. Right, and got that going on. So cool, and I'll just do these shoulder pads. So guys, as well, we're at 435 subscribers now, which is really cool. I'm going to be doing a video very soon, a 500 subscriber giveaway video. I've still got to send the 300 subscriber stuff out to the people who won. That's why I haven't done the 500 subscriber video yet, because I just don't think it's very good to be like running like another giveaway when I still haven't shipped the other giveaway. So just to let you know, like, very sorry guys, it is Christmas time though. And I have been very brutally busy. I started a new job. As you know, I work in computer games, stuff like that, and it can get very demanding. And so, like, I'm going to ship them probably next week after Christmas. So just make sure the winners of the 300 subscriber giveaways, just make sure that you got your stuff to me and that, and so I can just ship it all at once, okay? So, yeah, I think I got most of you, so I think I'm just waiting on, like, one more person. So please get that there, because it's just really hard, guys, like, you know, working a few jobs, and then, you know, like, I have to go down there all at once. I can't be going, like, all, you know, week, you know, different times, shipping, like, stuff off. So, you know, otherwise you're going to have to wait a bit longer for it. But yeah, look, thank you so much for your understanding there, guys, and thank you so much once again for your subscription and watching the channel and all your support, like, everybody, you know. So, cool. Now, just being very careful here with this part. Initially, when I first looked at it, I thought this was like I thought that was like part of the actual sprue, but it's not. That's actually part of the decoration on the model by the looks of it, I think. Maybe not. Okay, no, that looks like sprue. Okay, that is sprue. So I'm just going to have to be very, very careful with that. So, again, notice I'm not using my knife. I'm just using my snips to just do a really, really, really tight snip, flush snip, so that, like, the resin doesn't chip. Now I'll go in with my knife and I'll, watching my fingers, just start to sort of like saw into it and then just very gently sand it down. Okay, just being careful not to go in too much to the actual cauldron itself, or the shoulder pad itself. And I'll grab the other one now and do that. So I'm just going to snip this off. Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I don't think that's part of the actual model. I'm looking at the pieces here, and that's the thing with Forgeworld, guys. You really got to be careful with it. There are sometimes because the molds aren't as clear as like the plastic kits. So a lot of times you go around and you like cut stuff off the model you think is like part of the sprue, and you're just like, oh man, like that's my freaking antenna. Oops, you know. And you're like, oh, you know, good luck getting that one back on. So anyway, Just cutting this up, guys, cutting this up. So well, I'm also going to do a Saint Celestine thing a bit later. I might even do that this afternoon, see how we go. I'm officially on holidays now. So after working brutally last week, officially on holidays now. So hopefully I can cut out a few more vids. So yeah, guys, like share it around, get your mates, you know, help us grow the channel. The more subscribers we get, you know, obviously the more I can justify chucking more time into this. So, you know, so I'm just going to go through and just prune this. I mean, like, the thing is like, I'd like to be making videos every day, but, you know, like I said, if we're not really getting the numbers, then it's kind of like, well, like, you know, it's just got to be like a hobby then, and an act of goodwill, and which is fine by me too. I'm just gonna push this little part in, like that, because there was a bit of like resin in there. But like I was saying, guys, like, I mean, like I said, it's like, you know, time, you know, justifies the means, and you know, the more we grow, the more I see reaction, the more, you know, the more we can grow as a channel, the more I can do, you know, so more resources I can chuck towards it as well, the more prizes we can do. Okay, cool. So that's all the parts, and that's pruned now. All right. And I'm just thinking, like, do I want to maybe wash it? I don't know. I think it's going to be okay. I don't think it's a big deal. I'm just going to come in here, just give this a little bit of a prune inside here, just dip it out. It's like, it's funny, like, with resin, because it's actually toxic until it's cured when you make it. Like, not now, it's fine now, like, hopefully, but when you're actually doing like 3D printing and that kind of stuff. So so yeah, it's pretty cool. Sorry guys, I just refocus that camera there. It's a little bit off. So all right, that's that. I'm just going to open my super glue just really quickly. When you open the super glue, open it up away from the model. All right, just in case something does happen. I just use the end of my knife, okay? Just hold it here, like up the top, like just around this part here. Don't hold it down here, because if you hold it down here, you're going to squeeze it and stuff's going to pop up. Look, I should be able to control this pretty good because I'm a Warhammer veteran, but just in case and I end up eating my words, I'm just going to put a little bit of paper here. And what we want to do, you can use a pin for this, guys. You can use anything that's sharp. I'm just using my knife because it's what I've got here. All right, and you just go through and just give it a very, very light tap like that, okay? That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do, right? Put the lid back on. All right, screw it back on, just holding it here, bang, okay? There you go, okay? Myth busted, all right? Cheap super glue, doesn't fly everywhere if you know what you're doing, all right? So, all good, all right? So pack the soy up, ladies and gentlemen, and be a man. And, you know, why spend $10 on a friggin' special glue when you can spend $10? You can get a whole Space Marine hero for that. Anyway, all good. So each to their own. Now that that's done, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to start gluing together. Now, over here on this model, it's not going to matter too much because the legs are already in the same position. That reminds me, always remember these Forgeworld models, just give these arm sockets just a little bit of a prune. Because when you go put the arms on, they're going to be a little bit difficult. Yeah, so this doesn't matter too much on this model because the legs are kind of going in the same direction. But one tip I'll give you when it comes to posing, and like I say, I'm not saying this is 100% like, you know, this is 100% the only way to do it or whatever, but this is something like a tip that I found that helps me. Is put your legs on, put your arms on, and put the head on last, right? Because generally, like not all the time, but generally, the head will be following the direction of the action. So like, you know, if this guy's holding up a knife this way, then like his head should be sort of like, you know, pointing towards, like, you know, if he's pointing with a knife like that at something, right, then his eyes are going to be looking that direction, right? Generally, not all the time, but generally, I just find it's a very good way of keeping control over my pose by gluing the head on last after everything else. Now, one thing I'm really liking about this Forgeworld kit for this Hydra Elite is the fact that it's very, like, you know, there's not too many pieces. That's just me though. Like I said, I just want to go in there and put Warhammer together. I don't want to like fiddle around with it too much. Alright, now, so this kind of rocky part here, this looks like it comes with it. I'm not 100% sure I want to put that on there because I've got some special stuff planned for these bases. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for me when I go to paint that to basically go through there and do stuff. So I'm going to probably just leave that off for now. But then again, if I leave it off, it's going to fly everywhere. So, yeah, and I can't glue it onto the base either because, again, I have some special stuff in store for the base. So I might just actually leave it where it is for now. Actually, I think that might be the better way to sort of go with that one. But all good. So I might just leave that rock for now. Okay, I'll just glimpse at the instructions here. It's a pretty easy kit. So just basically saying, all right, so number 4 goes on there. He's got the knife. He's holding the knife down. I'm just going to emulate the the box art, guys. I'm not going to do any tricks here. That looks like the right shoulder pad. I'll just try to put it on the other side. Jesus, a nice model, that one. I probably should have looked at the numbers here. Okay, so that's the one with the arm going up. Yeah, that's right. So it's this way. All right. So what I'm going to do in this instance is I'm going to probably just use my glue tack trick. I'll just like tear off the tiniest like microscopic bit of glue tack just to basically help to hold stuff there. Alright, so you can see that how it's just literally like, that's literally so like the super glue can have like, you know, the first 15 seconds of the super glue for it to set. That's literally what that is, right? Be careful though, because it will melt and it can look a bit yucky. You can also use green stuff to help it out. And I'm just going to come in and just literally like just hover it over, be very, very gentle, slowly applying pressure with your glue and watching this little nozzle here. And what you do is you just want to like put the tiniest little dab down and then pull up with your glue. Just like a fighter jet. Just pull it straight up. Pull it straight up, right? Like an F-14 Tomcat. And now, alright, I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to stick that there like that. Right? Bang. Alright, now you can see, just pose this a little bit better. Now you can see what's going on here, right? So, just to make sure that his arm's going the right direction. So in the, yeah, that's about right. Like, I want it a little bit forward anyway. I don't want it, oh, maybe I'll put it back a bit. Hang on. So the other thing, a little bit of glue tack there helps me to do, guys, is that it helps me to give it like a few seconds to pose the model, right? As well, so that the glue doesn't bind straight away when it sticks, and I can just pose the model. But guys, look at this, like, see that, look at that, I'm flipping around, it's resin, I haven't even washed it, right? And I'm literally just going around like that, and because of the glue tack, it's just adding that little extra the little bit of you know, sort of stickiness there while the glue sets, right? So there's absolutely no dramas at all, right? You know, it's all good. That's why, guys, it's like, I know people, they bitch on about resin, but I'm sorry to be, you know, a downer on you, but, you know, chances are it's just that you know, it's usually the workman, not the tool, right? So, yeah, alright, so that's why you should watch my channel, watch more stuff, and, you know, hopefully it can benefit you while you're assembling. Now that should just stick on there. I can even start to go and work with this now, and just start to stick other parts of it on, alright? So again, I'm just going to use my little, tiny little bit of stuck tacked, right? And just put a tiny little bit on here like that. Remember, guys, we're putting on a tiny little bit. Alright, we're not going through doing anything crazy with it. Alright, that's probably even still a little bit too much. Alright, this is super glue. It's going to hold, right? So I'm just going to go through. Same technique, guys. Just boom. Whoa. See that? That's why I pull it up really, really fast. Alright, because we had a renegade bit of glue just fly out. That's alright. Give it a few seconds, right? And then just going to stick this on. on the shoulder pad and just push this in ever so slowly. Right, this is going to be the for the plasma gun. All right, again the glue tack's going to allow me to get my angle. All right, and I just want to make sure that I've got the angle that I want, which is on the box art. It's kind of like the tassels are coming down a little bit more, so I want to see that. I want to see that shoulder pad coming out a bit more, which is cool. Just kind of like holding his gun to the side. Then I want to make sure I've got the two shoulder pads lined up properly. All right, and again, that's the glue tack there, allowing us that flexibility to do that. Bang! Look, I'm dropping it everywhere. It's staying in place, right? It's not moving. All right, that's because of my technique, right? So all good. And like I said, it's my technique. I'm sharing it with you here for free, right? I don't mind, but it'd be much obliged if you could subscribe to the channel. If you're not a subscriber, it really helps us out. And if you like these tutorials, click the little bell notification icon so you can see our videos when they pop up. Cool. So these guys are going to be sweet. Looks like that's him against the Primaris. They're a little bit smaller than what I thought. I was hoping they would be a little bit bigger. These guys are meant to be Terminators. I suppose he is a captain though. So like, yeah. So what I'm going to do, the reason why I'm not going to, you know, be putting this on just yet is because my plan is I'm going to prop him up on some rocks and stuff, just to give him some like mad height. And for anyone who's been following me on the channel, you might know that I've basically gone through and I've got some really cool plans for basing these guys, you know, which should be pretty cool. So yeah. All right, so his arm's that way. Now I could go through, do the gun. All right, now what I might want to do is I might want to just make sure this is sanded down a little bit more. All right, like that. And then this part is very flimsy, guys. Just be careful of these little parts, right? And it's going to go through, just give this a bit of sand down. Being very, very careful. It's very hard to come back from this if you break it. Very hard because of the resin. And yeah, so just be very careful. So now I'm just going to just make sure that this is going in the right spot. So it's going to go like over here. Fits in there really nicely. Okay, cool. I don't think I'm going to need the glue tack for this part, so I'm just going to go in and just away from the model actually. Bang, there we go. Right, and then like push it in there like that. Alright. So cool. Alright, I gotta laugh. I gotta laugh, guys, eh? Like, I mean, you know, I remember when I did this muck around post, and like I posted this glue set in the Warhammer, one of the Warhammer groups on Facebook. And I had to laugh my ass off, you know, like so many people coming up going like, oh, I'm done with cheap glue, like this is that, I'm freaking using this like Lucasfilm glue. And it's like, guys, like, I mean, guys, you see me doing it. I'm here, I haven't had one problem. Like, honestly, I haven't had one problem. I had like one drip. That drip could have happened with any glue. It happens with Games Workshop glue. It's just hilarious. Like, I don't know if it's just some people, like, or if it's just, I don't know. Like, it's just like, guys, like, maybe it's not the glue, maybe it's you. So anyway, that rhymes. So anyway, now that's on, I can just go through and push this in. Once again, I don't think I'm going to need the stuck tack for that, so I'm just going to go through and just dab that in there, right? Again, like, as clumsy as I was with that last shot, it's still, like, you know, it's fine. And you know what, guys? If it does drip a bit, hey, why don't you think like a friggin', you know, engineer a bit and just use a bit of paper to, like, you know, just take some of it off, you know? And so anyway, here we go. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to stick that back on there now. So, you know, so saying, so yeah, there we go. All right. See, that's without the glue tack. See how it's still wobbly? See, I'm going to have to just hold this in a position for a little bit. Right, that's one of my master tactics. I probably should have actually used the glue tack for this, to be honest. But this is a good example of how it is without the glue tack. Right, without the technique of the glue tack. So it's really good, you know, to do that example anyway. So just to show you, so you can see here, guys, how it's not sticking even half as well, right? Yeah, sorry guys, battery just ran out again, so it's all good. I thought I had a new one out. So there he is, guys. He's looking good. He's looking champion. All right, so super fantastic. I think I should be able to do the head now, so that's cool. And I will do that now. Again, I'm just going to get the little bit of super glue here. Stick that in. Right, very wonderful, very beautiful, and the head can just follow suit. So guys, a lot of people, oh geez, that's a nice model. Holy crap, like look at that grill on his face. That is a freaking nice model, guys. Oh man, like it sucks because like the way he's standing, it's gonna hide that mask, but that mask is like epic. That sucks. I don't want to put that there because it's going to hide it anyway. That'll just have to do like that because it's got to look realistic. His face has kind of got to be following the gun. So, you know, it's just this really nice mouthpiece down here. It's really awesome, and it hides it behind the armor, but that's okay. So this is a Alpha Legion Praetor, by the way, in Cataphractic Terminator armor. So there we go. And what I'll do is, so like I said, I'm not going to go through and record the assembly of every single one of these guys. But what I'll do is I'll basically like just right at the end when they're all put together, like you just follow this process, like I said, if you want. Right at the end when they're all put together, I'll then just take a shot like of them all ready for undercoating, and I'll go through that process with you as well, my undercoating processes. Alright, here is my blade, my Hydra blade, which I'm going to... Okay, this part, glue tack. This is glue tack, yeah, for sure. I'm not going to fiddle with this, guys, so... I'm definitely using some... Oh, see, there's the head. Maybe I should have used some glue tack for that part. That's resin. It's alright. It's alright. I'll come back to the head. Just to be careful that the super glue doesn't get to the parts of the model that so it loses the detail, but I think it should be fine. Well, I had a look before, it's all good. So, alright. So. The other thing the glue tack does, it adds a tiny little bit of weight to the model as well, because the glue tack just sits in there, and you know, like if it is a drama, you can just paint over it as well. So like if you do get like a little bit of glue tack sticking out, it's like, you know, you just paint over it. Like I think I've got like a tiny little bit here, so I'm just gonna just fish that out there or that. But like I said, I'd rather have a tiny little bit of glue tack there than struggle with a model for friggin' like 10 years. And like I said, you simply like paint over it and you undercoat it. You don't even know, right? And I'm just gonna get some glue there and just stick it on top. The you know, the glue will melt it in anyway and coat around it. So when because a lot of people say, oh yeah, but then when you undercoat it, the glue tack comes off. And yeah, but guys, if you like glue it over it, the glue will create a seal, and you don't need it to worry about it. So I'm even thinking about putting some glue tack in here, but I don't think I will, because I don't want to risk messing with detail up on the face here. And he's done, so I can just sort of like cool, man. He looks so cool. Alright, just missing his cape. The cape I will probably leave off. I actually think he looks better with the cape off completely, to be honest. Yeah, so the cape's meant to sort of like slide on. Maybe I should have put the cape on first. Shouldn't really matter, should it? No, cape slides in there pretty cool. I don't know. I reckon the model looks better without the cape. But because I'm going to be painting this metallic, and the cape's not going to be metallic, I might actually keep the cape separate. Do I want to do that? Do I really want to do that? I don't know. I just, like, I do keep parts of models separate sometimes, but it's kind of like, yeah. I don't know. I reckon it looks more. I reckon it looks way better without the cape. So let's have a look. So be careful. Like, see that's the thing. Like, you don't want to think that you got the head in a good position, and then basically you find out that you nudged it, and then his head is super glued in this crazy crappy position. And it's just like, oh man, like, stuff. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to leave that there, let that head dry. I don't want to glue tack it too much yet. And I can always come back and stick the cape on later. So it's not a drama at all. Alright, and I might leave that there for the video. Super cool, guys, super fantastic. So he can just dry there for a bit, and then I'll put the cape on later, and that'll do it. So I'll just, you know, put the lid back on my super glue. Alright. I guess I'll just move the camera down a little bit so you can see him, I suppose. We'll just come out a little bit there. Just want to be careful because he's still drying. Usually what I'll do, just leave the model for, like, you know, about an hour or so. But anyway, there is the first Hydra Elite. This is the Praetor. He doesn't have a cape on just yet, but we'll get him there. All right, so he's looking pretty boss in my opinion. I've been wanting to, like, paint this guy up, like these guys up, for so long now. I've got the Alpha Legion. I want, like, this Alpha Legion army sort of, you know, but there's just so much coming out. Like, oh man, all the new, like, sort of, I got Crimson Fists, you know, just so much I want to do, but I just don't have the time, you know. So alright, super sweet. So there we go, there they are. They're all assembled there, minus the commander and his cape, which again I'll chuck in at a later stage. Like, you know, I'm keeping it separate because it's going to be matte, and the paint I'm going to be using are metallics. So for that reason, I'm keeping it separate. And look, if I lose it, I'm not going to be, like, too, you know, worried. But anyway, I'm thinking these guys are looking pretty sweet here. So let's take a look at these guys. Yeah, really liking these guys. Really happy with them. I'm happy with their poses too. A lot of time, like, you can do a model, you know, and you can make a model and the poses aren't too great, you know, but these guys, I reckon they're bang on. Like, he's holding his big axe up, you know. Alright, just turn around there. So I'm just showing you these now because I'm going to undercoat them in black. And once I undercoat them in black, it's going to be harder to see a lot of the detail and stuff on them. So for anyone who wants to have, like, a better look at them and stuff like that, have a look there. And I must admit, like, I do feel as though they could have been a little bit bigger. That's a Primaris guy, so, you know, but whatever. I'll beef him up a bit. I'll do my usual stuff where I add, like, 50 rocks down below and, you know, someone's skull or something like that. So I mean, really, no, I'm not really complaining. I'm really happy with them. I really like them. So I love those plasma guns as well. Those plasma guns are looking sweet. You can see here, I've just glue tacked them to the base. So that'll do for now. That rock is still completely detached. This is the Praetorian, or whatever you call it. I think he's looking pretty badass. And whoop, there we go. all with 30-cent super glue, guys. Anyways, sorry. It's just, yeah, okay. So yeah, there he is, the Praetorian, looking sweet. And did I get him? I can't remember. No, I'll get him now. I think I got him. Yeah, and see what I mean about like the heads sort of like looking down the gun or looking in the direction that they're meant to be going. So it just really helps with posing. And like this guy's kind of like looking forward and he's like, come on, you know, like, come get me, I'm here. You know, like the Arnold from the Predator kind of pose. But anyway, so cool is looking good. Looking really cool. And yeah, so it's very nice. And last dude. So there he is. Get them together. Alright, so he's looking cool too. Again, he's like, you know, coming forward with his axe, you know. These guys are going to be really cool on the tabletop as well. Really looking forward to running them. Really looking forward to running these guys. What I might do, I might just take a quick shot first for the... Because I might actually make this the thumbnail of the video. Make it a little bit different, you know. See how it goes. Actually get some minis on the channel there, so maybe come out just a little bit. Yeah, push those guys back. So I just come in a little bit there. There we go. All right, Hydra Elite. Hydra Elite. Yeah, looking pretty elite, pretty awesome. All right, so yeah. So the next step now is the undercoat. So I want to undercoat these guys now, and the reason is because like I want them to dry so that like tomorrow I can start to actually do the base coating on them and stuff. Now. Okay, so heaps of people turn around and they'll tell you that, you know, oh, you don't need to let like a model like dry overnight and all this kind of stuff. That's ridiculous. It only takes like an hour for it to dry and all this kind of stuff. Okay, generally that is kind of true, all right? But the thing is that when you're dealing with like metallic undercoats or when you're dealing with like MIG undercoats, that primers and things like that, like this guy, they're actually going to shrink wrap around your model. So that's why I like to use them the most. I don't like to use like the GW ones and stuff so much because they just, you know, they kind of just go through and, you know, yeah, so they actually shrink wrap around your model. And for that to happen properly and effectively, you kind of need to leave them for a couple of hours. Maybe not like for a whole day, but at least for maybe 5-6 hours just to dry properly. Give the plastics in the paint like a little bit to shrink wrap around it into the details, and that's why I sort of use it that. So what I'll do, I was gonna make like a complete, you know, undercoating video for these guys, but I don't think I'm gonna do that now because what I'll do is I'll make an undercoating video separately, just basically how to undercoat your models. Because I want to go through like all the different types of undercoating, the GW undercoating, undercoating with a brush, undercoating with army painter, you know, sort of all that kind of stuff. Undercoating with MIG, undercoating with Vallejo primers, you know, what to do. So what I'll do is I'll just, I might just quickly undercoat one of these guys, get it here on the camera, just show you the process, and then we'll talk about the actual undercoating of the, you know, like difference between undercoats and when and what not to do, and you know, the myth of bad weather and all this kind of stuff, which I'll talk about in the next video. You know, well, I mean, like, I don't know, like, there's this thing, you know, it's like, oh, you know, if it's a musty day or it's a cloudy day or, you know, this is true, but guys, if you know what you're doing, you're not going to get affected by that. And, like, I mean, I never have been, and, like, the number one thing is I've found that really only occurs when you're using Games Workshop spray outside of the can, alright, when you're using, if you're using airbrush and that stuff minimizes as long as you know what you're doing. if you know, even with the GW stuff, if you know what you're doing, it's not going to matter. You can undercoat, or maybe not in a blizzard because the paint's going to spray back at you. But yeah, no, it's not an excuse, guys. It's really not. It's yeah. All right, cool. All right, so I'll just edit this back in then, and we'll do a little bit of a quick of an undercoat here, so I can keep the succession in. Now, the first thing, just before I forget, definitely wash these models, all right, and dry them before you undercoat them, because the resin, it's going to have still have a little bit of residue on there, a little bit of powdery stuff on there. So you definitely want to get these under, just even if it's just a quick rinse under the table, and then undercoat them before you start like working on them, undercoating them. Now, I'm not going to bother because I know what I'm doing here, but Forgeworld models can be a little bit tough to undercoat. The paint has a little bit of a harder time sticking to the recesses, and you might actually need to do a few thin coats of it. So you know, and for that reason, that's why I'm not going to bother washing these, because I know that like to get the result, the quality of undercoat that I want to get on these guys, I know I'm going to have to sit here carefully and just do like one light layer after a time and build it up. So, you know, so that's just to say, but for you guys, if you're new to Forgeworld, if you're new to working with white resin, I strongly recommend washing the models. I highly, highly, highly recommend it, okay? Alright, cool, let's get into it. I'll do a quick undercoating, and the next video in this series will actually crack these, shifting colour paints open. And yeah, I mean, guys, like I'm going a bit, thorough here, but, you know, truth be told, I mean, you know, like I've waited like a month for these paints to get here, so, yeah, I may as well do it, you know, as thorough as I can. I just want to be careful, because I don't want to like get to the point. There's a reason why I never actually made a YouTube channel on Warhammer up until this point, and I guess I don't even know why I've done it now, but I just thought I had this room and I just thought, well, I might as well do it. But the reason was basically that it's kind of like the only sort of art or creative thing I have left that isn't a job. And it's kind of just like I just, you know, I didn't want it to like, you know, sort of like lose the passion for it, because it becomes like a job, you know. And yeah, like, I mean, it's not happening yet, but it's just a concern. I've just, you know, because like, you know, photography, and then you know, the professional photographer, making games, professional making games, VFX artists, like professional that, you know, and so it's kind of like all the creative stuff I love to do. It ends up becoming my job. So I'm just like, oh wow. So you know, hopefully you know, this doesn't become too choreful recording these videos, but I don't think it will, as long as we've got awesome supporters like we do on the channel, and we certainly do. I really love, like, you know, making videos for you guys, and thank you so much for watching. And you know, and like I said, there's plenty more to come. And you know, if you're not a subscriber, guys, please consider subscribing to the channel. We upload Warhammer content regularly, alright? Alright, guys, fantastic. I'll see you all in the next video, alright?